What up, B Squad? It is your boy JB, and we are here today, you guys, with another brand new review for Keke Wyatt's World, you guys. Season 1, Episode 2. This episode is titled Work-Life Balance. So before we go ahead and get into this review, you guys, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel, and you guys aren't subscribed yet, then I need you guys to do me a huge solid favor, you guys, to stop taking me out on this date and then having me pay for it at the end of it. And you guys know the routine. You can do me that favor by liking the video, subscribing to the channel, turning your post notifications on, and sharing the video, you guys. And with that out of the way, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this episode of Keke Wyatt's World, shall we? Now, you guys, I will say this episode, I didn't get much from it. And I don't know how I'm going to be able to stretch this episode out because there's not a lot of stuff that happened in this episode. Because we picked up where we left off with Keke, with, her and, Andre talking. And remember, her husband told her, with all due respect, shut up. It wasn't even like how the editing made it. He did tell her to shut up, and she told him don't tell her that, right? But he was basically saying that you two are, that's your husband. Is that what they say? I don't know. Her gay husband, right? And he was just really advocating for them to hug and make up, right? So Andre and Keke, they did hug and make up with each other. And, Andre told Keke that he feels that she owes him an apology, right? And she was like, an apology for what? For not talking to you for days? And he said yes. And here's the thing I will say about that. I think the relationship lines have gotten a little bit blurred because they are best friends with each other, they're good friends with each other, but they also have a working relationship. So it kind of tugs the line of, how much can I do, what can I say that won't jeopardize our friendship as well as our working relationship. So I think that that's something that they could they have to figure out. So also, Andre tells Keke about this meeting that she has coming up with the label, right? You guys remember that Keke is getting ready to put out a, I don't know if she's putting out an album or if she's putting out an EP. Now, I think this episode is going to be a lot of just me talking. What consists of an album? I know an EP, and I always get confused over like an EP and an album because I think this is an album because she said 8 songs at one point, but then later in the episode, Andre said 10 songs. Now, EPs, because I remember like back in the day with an EP, if you put out like I don't even know if we called it EPs back in the day, right? But if you put out like a little demo album or something like that, right, that would consist of maybe 3 or 4 songs, maybe even 5. But in today's time, you don't, most albums, some of them don't even have a full, because I remember back in the day, you used to buy a CD, and that CD would probably have about, oh my God, that CD would have probably about like a good 13 songs. Oh my God, like back in the 90s, right? Especially like when you think about like Destiny's Child, their albums, how they would have an outro, which was a gospel song. Times have really changed with the music industry when you think about it. So yeah, I think it's an album, but like I said, it said 8 songs. But there are some artists that put out CDs that put out a full album and it's only like 8 songs. I'll tell you guys one of my favorite artists. Like, I think he does put out albums, and he maybe have 8 or 9, maybe even 10 songs. Bruno Mars. Love me some Bruno, you guys. So yeah. One thing I also will say, Keke and them facial expressions, they crack me up. I love Keke and her facial expressions. So yeah, I guess we can pause here and move forward. So I have a question about Keever's girlfriend. Where's her family? Because that little girl is always at their house. And like I said last week, and I'll say it again this week, it kind of gives a little bit of reviews. That's the vibe it gives me. Like, it kind of gives, like, I know she said she's been around for 2 years or so, but it's just very random that she's at this house all the time. Like, does she live here with y'all? Like, I'm sorry. I'm just, maybe I'm old school. Maybe I'm just old school because my mama and my grandma them, they would have never went for that. They would never go for that. But hey, different. These kids these days, they do things differently, right? So, but it is what it is, right? So, the kids, we're talking to Keke about the album, and they want her to put some chill music on there because they were talking about don't make the album for the old people. I was like, wait a minute now. Wait. Your mama will to her actual kids. Your mama's music been out longer than y'all been alive. Let me put that to you, right? Kick it to you like that. But also, I will say, like I said, Kiva's little girlfriend, mama got a lot of, she felt like she got a lot of input. And I was like, ma'am, what are you, never mind, I'm going to shut my mouth. But Keke, yeah, don't listen to, I'm so sorry to tell you, don't listen to them kids. Don't put out no chill type of music because that is not what we know you for. I know you for that voice and belting out the songs. Give your audience what your audience, and it's so interesting when you think about it, right? Because I was going to do Hot Topics last week and I was going to talk about Drake and the fact that even with his music, how it's changing, right? How it seems as if he's making music now more so catering towards the younger audiences, these kids, right? And that's no shade. You want to be an artist that can change with, go with the times, right? But also, I will say today's music, I just don't think that the music that the kids are, and I also sound old as hell too, and I ain't even old. But I really do feel, and it's so funny because the things that, the older generation used to say to us when we were growing up, the music that y'all listening to today, that ain't gonna be no classics. Y'all ain't gonna be listening to that 10, 20 years from now. And it actually is, right? Because I still listen to music from the 90s. I still listen to a lot of songs from the 90s. And it's so funny, right? Because I remember, back in the day, my family used to talk about, oh, the music y'all listen to, it's just so raunchy and nasty. But then if you listen to stuff from the 60s and the 70s, the Temptations and all them, they were just as nasty and raunchy. They just were just a little more playful and colorful with their words, as opposed to the 90s where people were saying, like Adina Howard and all those kind of things, right? They were just outwardly saying what y'all were saying in the 60s, 70s, and 60s, 70s, 80s, and all that kind of stuff. We're saying the same thing. We've just changed, we've just gotten a little bit more explicit, right? Now, today's music, I feel like is even more explicit. I feel like today's music is a little bit more explicit than what it used to be in the 90s and early 2000s. But also you have music today where you don't even know what the fuck they saying, right? Or do I want to say this for Hot Topics? Because I'm doing Hot Topics tonight. I'm going to briefly touch on it and then we'll talk about it in Hot Topics. Or you have artists like, and this is no shade to that young lady. You have people like Ice Spice and Saweetie, where they put out, it's like popcorn music, right? It just pops up here, pops up there, and then it's hot for a few minutes, and then it fizzles away and there's nothing. I told you guys, this episode wasn't a lot to it. So that's why I knew that there was gonna be some things that I want to talk about. Yeah, Keke, them kids, don't listen to it. Put out what your audience is familiar with. I think that's what's gonna be best for Keke. Oh, her son, I think his name is, what is the young Kimar. Now, I didn't like the fact that Keke actually started the situation with him where they were teasing a young man, and I was like, now that ain't cool. Kimar was over there minding his business, and it started with Keke, then it went to his sister, then it went to Kiva's girlfriend. I want Kiva's girlfriend to mind her, because I feel like it's already enough that it's his mom and his sister, but then you My brother's girlfriend? No. Please mind your business, Miss Ma'am. And that's no disrespect to you, Miss Mamas. That ain't no disrespect to you, baby. But I just really, where's your family? I'm gonna ask that question one more time. Where is your family? Do they? Never mind. Never mind. Let's pause here and move forward, you guys. So Keke, when she talked to Kimar, she started crying, and I was like, but Keke, you kind of did start picking at him first. He was minding his business, and he got up and walked out of the room. And so, I think he's a sensitive soul, and that's not a bad thing at all, right? And I felt bad for him because he did not want to tell Keke how he felt because he didn't want to see Keke cry. And I was like, oh, that is, and I was like, okay, he's probably a mama's boy. And if he see his mama hurt, that's going to hurt him. And I got that, right? But, Keke is also talking about she dropped a bomb with him somewhere and she just wants to figure out how to get it back. And I was like, well, Keke, if you know, here's the thing that I will say, right? Because I have my little brother, right? Very, very sensitive, right? As a little boy, my little brother was super duper sensitive, and I knew how far I could go with my brother, and I knew how far I couldn't go, right? Because, like I said, he got in his feelings easily. So I knew when he wanted to play with me, when he wanted to roughhouse and play with me, I'd be like, and my little brother's name is Jeremy. I'd be like, Jeremy, chill out, because I know how you are. Like, stop hitting me, because if I hit you back, you're going to go in your room and you're going to sulk and cry. And I'm not trying to do that to you. He'd be like, no, Jerome, I want to play. My middle name is Jerome. He'd be like, no, Jerome, I want to play. And I'm like, Jeremy, stop. Like, and I was like, okay, we can do this, right? You want to roughhouse? You want to go at it? Let's do it, right? And it never ceased to not happen, right? Me and him get into it. We get into the roughhousing, and I will say, and I always tell my little brother, I'm like, I have heavy hands. Like, the minute that I hit you, and it hurts, and I'm like, I'm not trying to make it hurt or nothing like that. We're just play fighting. But I said, but you just know, I have rough, heavy. Now they may not look like it, but my hands are very rough. And when I hit a person, if I hit you, that shit's gonna sound the fuck off, right? Number one, it's gonna sound off. Number two, it's power behind it. Like, I'm right-handed. Actually, I'm ambidextrous, so I'm both right and left-handed. But if I hit you with this right, if you get hit with the right hook, real hard, it's gonna hurt like a motherfucker, right? And that was the thing with him. I was like, please stop, because I was like, okay, I would start soft, but then he gets harder. I'm like, bitch, why are you hitting me hard? I'm like, you're hitting me hard, but then the minute that I punch your ass hard, you're gonna cry and you're gonna run and tell that I hit you. Either you're gonna run and tell that I hit you, or you're gonna go in your room and you're gonna be mad at me and you're not gonna want to talk to me. And so it always happened. And I said, you know what? Let's just stop, right? You don't do it. You guys remember that commercial where the little brother and the brother and sister in the car, where he's like, I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you. That was my little brother. That was my brother. But, and like I always say, he could do it to me. I'm like, don't do it to me. Don't expect big brother to not do to little brother what little brother is doing to big brother. So I feel like with Keke, if you know that he's very sensitive and like, don't do that to him, right? If you know that he's not going to be able to handle it, don't do it. That's all I got to say, because that's how it had to be with my brother. I knew the first time that I knew he couldn't handle it. That's why I started saying to him, like, no sir, don't try it. Don't try it. And what I would say, you want to play with me, but then you get mad when I do to you what you did to me, right? But that's not what happened with Kiva. That's not what happened with Kiva. I'm just giving that as an example. You guys, again, like I said, this episode wasn't much. So we see Keke. So Keke is doing a rehearsal for her performance that she's having. She brought the baby with her. She's also Horace as well. So we then get to the performance, and Kissy, she invited her manager. Keke don't like Kissy's former manager, right? And Keke, when she saw him, she's like, she told Andre, get this nigga out of here, right? So Keke went and performed, but before Keke performed, Kissy performed, you guys. And oh God, how do I say this in the nicest ways? With Kissy, she's not a bad singer, but that song that she sang, it just was not the bee's knees. It wasn't good to me personally, right? And I'm not saying she can't sing, but it just wasn't good. At the end of it, she invited Keke and Andre down to her video shoot. Keke did ask her if oh boy, Johnny was gonna come. She said yes. Keke don't want to be around Johnny, right? So then at the end of the episode, we see Keke. So they had to call the EMS to come to the house because her baby, he stopped breathing, and she said she stopped breathing for 13 minutes. And I know that had to be so scary. And thinking about, listening to what Keke said, right? Keke was talking about the fact that with her baby, the physicians were basically telling her that his quality of life was not going to be good, but she went on ahead and had him because she felt like God would take care of him, right? And I absolutely do believe that. I do believe that God will take care of him, but the thing is, so far, his little life has just not been the best, and I know that weighs probably heavily on Keke. I can't even imagine what that feels like. So my heart and prayers go out to her because I just can't imagine what that's like. Because you carry him for 40 weeks, she said, right? And you felt him kick, you felt him grow, you felt everything with him, and then you give birth to him. But then when you give birth to him, his little, it's just his little body. His body has so much that it has to deal with. And once again, my heart goes out to Keke for sure. But yeah, you guys, that's the episode. I gave you guys a little bit longer than what I thought I would give. And I do want to, I know somebody, I think it was Evita, who left it that, the show was a little boring. So I will say, I want to say something about that, you guys. I don't think that the show is boring, right? I think that they're trying to find their stride. And I think what this show is going to give us is a feel of, like I said last week, Braxton family values as well as Mary. We always, and I want to say this, and this is not anything negative, right? I got where Evita's come. Evita, if you're watching this, I know you probably are. I got where you were coming from. I absolutely understood where you were coming from. That it's very slow. I will agree with you right there. It's slow. But the one thing that I do want to say, and I want to say this just for all of us in general as Black people, right? And this is not personal. This is just something that I always see when it comes to shows like this, right? Where we get a brand new show and it's no drama, right? Because we had this with Married to Medicine LA. Everybody talked about how boring Married to Medicine LA was, right? And then it got canceled. But then we have shows like Baddies on Zeus. We have Love and Hip Hop. We have Married to Medicine, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Potomac, right? Where those show a different side of us, right? And and we always talk about how when we come to reality TV, it doesn't always show us in the best of light, right? It always shows that we're messy, we're ratchet, we're ghetto, we're this, we're that, right? But this isn't showing that. And I want us to support, I want us to, I watch all those trashy reality TV shows, minus Baddies. I don't do that shit. I watch everything else, right? And I support that. I watch that stuff, and it's no direct resemblance, it's no direct reflection of who I am as a person, right? And it's no direct reflection of anybody else, right? But I want us to also give these types of shows a chance, right? Because think about it, Mary, and Braxton Family Values, those shows were on WeTV for some years, right? Because it just, yes, the Braxtons had their own share of drama. The, Tina and, goddamn, what is the other one's name? Tina and the Mary sisters. What is Tina and Erica? How did I forget Erica's name? How did I forget? Tina and Erica, right? Tina, Erica, and even Gugu, they all had their own. Ooh, especially Tina. They had their own. Ooh, if I can find that on some kind of app, I want to react to that as well. There's gonna be something on my throwback reviews. I have got to find Mary Mary. I have got to find Mary Mary. But yeah, you guys, and again, like I said, I love all y'all's opinions, and I don't feel I wasn't, I just want us to be able to support, as well as we watch the trashy reality shows. Can we also want to uplift and support our, the positive shows, right? Because this is very positive so far. It's nothing negative. We just see Keke trying to do her music. So that's all I say. I just want us to support everything. I just want us to support it all, right? And yes, it is a little slow, right? But I just want us to support it. That's all I got to say, you guys. But like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on your post notifications, share the video, you guys. And until next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, wash your hands, be blessed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.